Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I have a special review for you today. I'm going to be reviewing the Innova Leopard. As many of you know, this has been my primary understable fairway driver since I started this channel. In fact, I had to look at the date here, January, February, March, April, May of 2020 is when I bought this one. And it was actually, this Star Leopard was replacing an Orange Pro Leopard that I purchased the year before. And so this was my primary driver for the longest time as a novice level disc golfer. As I've progressed into a recreational level disc golfer, particularly thanks to my putting and upshot game, not so much due to my drives, this is more switched to an understable fairway driver role for me. Whereas when I first had this disc, as basically, I think I was 49 at the time, this was a straight fairway driver. In fact, the reason why I purchased this was the Pro Leopard that I was using was 147 grams, and it was what I used to replace the DX Leopard, was becoming too flippy for me. And so I went to Reddit, the disc golf subreddit, and they recommended this disc for me, a max weight Star Leopard, and went on Infinite Discs, ordered this, got it, and fell in love with it immediately. And as we go through this video here, where I play 9 holes of disc golf using this as my primary driver, I'll go into more detail about this disc. That said, let me warm up here, and I'll go ahead and get things going. All right, I'm sufficiently warmed up. It's nearly 100 degrees, so it didn't take much effort. With that said, let me explain the rules of today. All my throws are with this Star Leopard in max weight. That's backhand and forehand, that's drives, that's mid-range throws, that's short range approaches, upshots, everything except for putts, which will be done with this R-Pro AVR. So yeah, with that said, the basket is way down there, and I'm gonna try to hyzer flip this Leopard. And indeed I do. Holy smokes. Okay, fairway hit. Okay, the closest measurements I can get on that drive is about 252 feet according to UDisc, at best plus or minus 16. And using the rangefinder to the T sign, it's 262. So I'm going to accept that as a pretty good drive. And honestly, for me, who throws maybe max 280, 300 golf lines on a course, getting 250 with the Leopard is really, really good. That said, I'm about 100, I don't know what, 10, 115 out. So all I want to do is get close to the basket with this. Yes, sir, not a bad approach disc. Needless to say, this hole gets a lot easier if you can get that first drive off well enough. Back in 1999, this was PDGA certified, and Innova started selling it to the public. And this joined the Whippet, the Gazelle, and the Cheetah in Innova's 6-speed lineup. With that said, I've got a straight shot. I need maybe a slight bit of turn, but I'm okay with it going straight and fading a little bit, as long as I get close to the basket. This is yet another long hole on this course. Yes, sir, that's what I want. And one thing to keep in mind, that is a well-used, seasoned Leopard. I've been using it for 3 solid years, and I've hit a lot of trees with it. It is now my new wood chopper. And despite all that, it still responded fairly stable in my hands. And I just needed, you know, hyzer to let it flip up, ride a little bit, maybe drift a tiny bit, and then land. Love that disc. Okay, according to UDisc and Bushnell, to the tree that's parallel to the keypad, it's 290 feet. I'm not sure I got 290, but I know I got pretty close. Regardless, another 100, this is like 120 to the basket. I would rather use a putter for this. Okay, that's not bad. Again, not ideal for an approach disc, so I may be rethinking what I need to use for approaches. We're all here really to see how the Leopard flies as a driver. So let me think about this. Okay, I've rethought it. I skipped a little bit too much for a Leopard. If I would use a putter, I think it would have been right under it. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and put this one in, and I'll figure out what I'm going to do on the next hole. All right, here's a little bit of a fun fact. When the Leopard came out in 1999, Innova's fastest discs were 9-speed drivers with the Valkyrie and the Firebird out at the time. And they called these ultra long range drivers, and these were just called long distance drivers at the time. With that said, I've got to account for a headwind that's blowing this way, so I need a little bit more hyzer. I need to try to not produce a lot of wobble on the disc because I don't want it to flip up and drift that way. So a little bit more hyzer. Ooh, a little bit too much on my end. Okay, we've got to look. Interesting. So Bushnell says 280 from that sign. UDIS says 267. So I don't know. 270 probably sounds accurate for what I did with this. So anyways, I'm just gonna put this close. I'm outside the circle, but I don't step or jump putt anyways. Always remember to feed the Leopard. Okay, the next basket is over there. That said, for you to see my throw, I'm gonna have to maneuver the camera over here. The Leopard has always been a beginner-friendly disc. This one is no exception. I've used it probably more than any fairway driver ever. This one disc, because I've had it for so long and I've used it so often, that even though now I use a lot more stable discs and sometimes longer speed discs, I still come back to this and I can't take this out of my bag. In fact, one of the interesting things about this is since its debut in 1999, this has been in a 3-disc starter set from Innova ever since. They put it in with their Shark or their Aviar back in 2000, and there's never been a starter set. A year without a starter set for this. That said, as you'll note in the last drive that I did, this is not ideal for every shot that I'm going to throw here. It's just the disc that I'm throwing, and I'm making adjustments based on my familiarity with the disc. So in that last throw, it drifted a little more. Even though I did a hyzer flip, I produced a little bit of wobble on the disc initially, so it helps it flip up more. I've got the same challenge here. I've got a very long distance drive, and I'm gonna have to put a little bit more hyzer on it than even the previous one because I've still got the headwind. All right, with that said, let me see what I can do with this Leopard. Okay, I bungled that throw, so I'm just gonna go ahead and rethrow. Just to let you know, I'm not scoring this round. I'm just trying to show you what the disc can do in competent hands, and sometimes I'm gonna make a mistake. So my goal is to, since it's understable, is make sure the trajectory is slightly nose up with hyzer. I don't want the disc to be nose up. I don't want to throw flat and then have the nose be up. I want to have the trajectory, the whole trajectory be where that is up. So that's what I'm attempting to do here. So hopefully I don't block the camera too much, but this is what I need to do to throw. Didn't put enough hyzer on it. That's still a good throw. Okay, it looks like I went about 190 from the tee. Not my best effort. I did not hyzer it enough. Plus, I dropped my elbow, producing a little more wobble on the disc than it should have had. So that was a bad release on my part. With that said, I'm about 120 out. Whew, got a putt. Man, the camera work and everything here is a lot more fatiguing. 95, 98 degree weather. That said, That was my Aviar X3. Here's my R Pro Aviar. Yes, sir. So as you can see, this is great for long distance shots. It's best used brand new with, you know, a slide hyzer, you know, kind of a clean release kind of deal. And when it gets beat in like this, it makes an excellent roller. Now, I don't really have the hole here to show it best as a roller, but I do want to give a straight shot out that way towards the basket. That, my friends, is exactly what the Leopard is for. Okay, per Bushnell, I'm 258 from the back of that T sign. So this is like 245 to 250 from where I threw it. So that's pretty good. Again, you're seeing a pretty consistent range here. About 200 if I screwed up, or about 250 up to 280 maybe, if I do it right. That said, per Bushnell, I'm 75 from the basket. I really don't want to throw because I have a tendency of juicing it. So I'm just going to do a putt. And for me, because I'm an intermediate to advanced level putter, I think I can get close to that for an easy par. It's way too risky to try to throw something in. That is all I want. Pin high, baby. So shout out to Nate Turner for these ghetto drone cams, or whatever you want to call them. I think they're invaluable for showing people better what the courses are looking like and what the throws went through. Here's a bit of interesting trivia about the Leopard. This mold is used as a basis for other molds. Leopard 3 in particular from Innova uses this, and they just have a slightly lower profile or flatter version of the Leopard, which they use for the Leopard 3. It's also available in a lot of plastics. Most of them, it's a Tour Series disc for a lot of pros. It's also a very popular disc. Infinite Discs also sells the Centurion, which is certain runs of the Leopard 3 mold. That said, we're at my Nemesis hole. All I want to do is avoid hitting these trees. If I hit them, I'm just gonna pick up the disc and keep filming until I get a shot through, because I want to show y'all what the flight of the disc is like, not how bad I can throw. Okay, well, that turned out to be a pretty decent throw. So, given that Leopard is well used, if I used a brand new Leopard or maybe a Leopard 3, it wouldn't have drifted. It probably would have gone straight or maybe even faded slightly and probably been under the basket. So, something to keep in mind. Okay, so ultimately I'm trying to give you the best shots I can with the Leopard. I'm going to move the camera over here and let me see if I can putt in for birdie. Okay, there's not really a good shot for this, so with that said, I'm just going to try to get one over. All right, well, good try. Going back to the earliest Innova catalogs that mention this disc, they say it's optimally used between 225 and 375 feet. And I will say this can be a max distance driver for a lot of beginner, novice, and recreational players. Even someone like myself who is just kind of in that middle of the road recreational distance category. I can put a lot on this. And if I throw it right with the right wind, I can get close to 300 feet with this. And in fact, I've done that before. That said, that's not going to happen here. I've got a tunnel shot. Normally when I'm on this hole, I play a mid-range, flat to about the middle, and I try to throw another, and I just try to play for par. That said, you're not here to watch me play safe. So I'm going to be slightly aggressive, try to put this down the middle. Hopefully I get it on the first try. No. As my friend Sean told me, don't worry about what just happened, worry about what you need to do. I'll take it. Okay, per Bushnell, 185 from where I threw, 150 from the basket. Just gonna take my AVR 3 and try to get close. This is normally where I try to land my Mako 3, but since I'm doing a review on a Leopard, I did what I could. Got lucky here. Alrighty. I will say this hole can be a bit of a bear. So if you don't do things right, you can easily get a bogey or worse on it. Whew. Here I am at hole 8. This is actually a very long distance hole. I've got a very, very slim chance of making par with even 2 really good throws. With that said, I'm going to try to hyzer flip this Leopard, hopefully get it to flip up, maybe not drift too far to the right and let it fade in the middle of the fairway. Okay, that didn't work out so well, so I grabbed it. I'm going to try it again. Let's see if I can give it a little more height so that I can get it towards the middle of the fairway there. Oh, that's a lot more. Oh, that's good enough. That'll do. $235 away from where I threw, $175 away from the basket per Bushnell. All I want to do is get this animal close for a putt. And indeed I did. Okay, I think that Joan Cram probably didn't look too hot. Sorry about that. I kind of tripped during the middle of it. With that said, I've got to look at a par save. Bogey. That, my friends, is why I bogey this hole almost every time. There's 3 keys of disc golf. There's driving, there's approaching, and there's putting. You need all 3 to play this distance sport. And to be honest, driving is the hardest part of it. With that said, this should be a par 4 for my skill level. 446, par 3. Let's go. That's as good as I'm gonna get. Okay, 235 from where I threw, the edge of the tee pad, 215 to the basket. I can actually use the Leopard as a standstill thrower to that. So first I'm going to throw this Mako 3, and if I can't reach, I'm going to try this Leopard. But this is what I'd actually try to use. But I want to try to max rip this a little bit and try to get the Mako 3 over there. Okay, pin high. Now let me show you this Leopard. The last time I was here, I basically used this to save a par from about over there. Oh well. Okay, looks like I made the right disc selection with this Mako 3 for an approach, so no real complaints. Yes, sir. Okay, as you can see, I've played this entire round with this well-seasoned Star Leopard max weight as my primary driver, and it did the job just fine. I just had to make fine adjustments, but since I'm pretty familiar with this disc, worked out great for me. And as you can tell, the other discs I used were the Mako 3 mid-range, AVR X3, AVR 3 and Animal as approach discs, and our Pro AVR is my putter, Team Yellow baby. And yeah, I absolutely love it. This There's a reason why this is my favorite disc, even more than my FD, which is one that I've aced. But this one here, highly recommend for, say, older people, beginners, novice players, even recreational level players, and even back in the day, top level pros like Barry Schultz, Juliana Korver, and a few others. Avery Jenkins was using a Leopard. And there's Leopard 3 variants out, and there's a lot of things out there you may want to try. With that said, I love this disc. Think you'll love it too. Definitely give it a shot. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.